Welcome to High School OT Live. Here's your host, Nick Stevens.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to High School OT Live Postgame Show. I'm Nick Stevens here in Raleigh. Not as many games tonight, but still a lot of big action across the state of North Carolina. One game in the East region tonight. We're about to get an update on that one. 8 other games out west. We'll have updates on those throughout the night. Plus, we're going to check back on some of the games that happened last night, get some insight from coaches and players on those games, and we'll look ahead to a few games that we have tomorrow due to the weather. All that coming up here. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Brennan Doherty, though, because we've been tracking scores throughout the night here, Brennan, and there have been some really interesting ones. In the 4A in particular, we'll start there. There will be a new matchup in the 4A state championship game this year. Both Cardinal Gibbons and Chambers eliminated in the second round. Cardinal Gibbons last night by Millbrook. Chambers tonight by AC Reynolds. You want to take us through that one?
Yeah, AC Reynolds playing at home as the higher seed, even though many people would expect Chambers to have the quality to get through that round. But yeah, it was a low-scoring second half. The only 3 points scored in the second half came on the game-winning field goal for AC Reynolds with just under 2 minutes left, a 41-yarder. So obviously a big kick to win a big game for the Rockets, and they're moving on to the third round. And Chambers, it's an early exit for last year's state runners-up, like you said, Nick.
Yep, they will. AC Reynolds moves on 17-16 over Chambers. Not an upset by seed, but I think a lot of people expected Chambers to make a deep run in the playoffs this year. Now, AC Reynolds will meet Butler, it looks like. That game is getting to the end there. Butler, the 15 seed, up 41-14 on the 2 seed Mooresville at last check. So it looks like Butler will head to Asheville to take on AC Reynolds in the third round. We also, this game from last night, you see Weddington beating Cox Mill, the 6-11 seed, Weddington 30-14. Again, that was last night. The Watauga Northwest Guilford game has been postponed until tomorrow. The winner of that game will meet Weddington in the third round. We'll go to the top of the 4A West bracket. Independence beat Olympic last night 55-6. They will face the winner of Grimsley and Charlotte Catholic in the third round. That game also postponed until tomorrow. We will have updates on that for you on High School OT. We're also about to talk to Independence head coach Daryl McFadden in a few minutes here on our post-game show. But another game we've been following throughout the night, Brennan, was that Huff-Mallard Creek game. That is a 5-12 game, and last night we did not have a single 5-seed win. That was not the case tonight, though.
Yep, very different tonight, Nick. Last night was crazy, but specifically about this Huff-Mallard Creek game, last time they played, it was 22 total points between the two teams, and it was the same case tonight. But Huff comes out on top this time, 16-6. I believe kicker Nolan Hauser was able to make 3 field goals in this one. So Huff, really rode their defense tonight and special teams as well, and they're moving on.
And they will face the winner of Mount Tabor and East Forsyth. That game scheduled for tomorrow. We're also going to talk to East Forsyth coach Todd Willard here in a few minutes as well. So we'll keep you posted on that one. The 3A bracket, Brennan, Kings Mountain is going to face West Charlotte. Kings Mountain and West Charlotte, both big winners in the second round. Kings Mountain 42-0 over Smoky Mountain. West Charlotte 56-7 over High Brighton. We'll get an update on that game later on in the show tonight. Ledford beats Northwest Cabarrus 42-27. They will face East Lincoln on the road. East Lincoln beat Tuscola 35-7 and keep going in the 3A West. Still one game underway. West Henderson, the 2 seed, beating the 15 seed West Rowan 48-35. The winner of that will host Eastern Guilford. They beat Irwin last night 62-42. The other games from last night you see at the top there, Crest won over Oak Grove last night 42-15. They will travel to South Point. South Point put up 74 points on Dudley last night, came away with a 74-41 win. Bernie, you take us through the 3A East real fast.
Sure. Last night we had Northern Nash get past Southern Nash in a rivalry game. They'll take on Southern Durham. Southern Durham's got some really good prospects across their defensive line. They were able to play good, strong defense against Vance County. That's going to be a tough matchup for the Spartans going up against Northern Nash. Triton, I believe we'll be talking to their head coach later tonight, Nick. They picked up their second win in the playoffs over Hunt, a battle of 2 teams with 20-plus seed marks next to their name. And now they'll be facing Jacksonville as well after their upset of Havelock. And 71st able to get a little bit of revenge on J.H. Rose. They had their season end on their home field against J.H. Rose last year, but they got out to a big lead, and their defense ultimately did enough to get past the Rampants. Tomorrow we got North Brunswick against Lee County. That game's being played at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday. Lee County on the road for the second time in as many weeks, had a big win at Currituck County last week, but it's going to have to be stronger against North Brunswick. And the game of the night last night was Terry Sanford's Hail Mary win over Scotland. Of course, we recapped that and all the craziness surrounding that, but they'll be facing a really good team in Eastern Alamance that overcame a 21-0 deficit against Williams and was able to win in overtime.
We'll be talking to Terry Sanford coach Bruce McClellan later on in the show as well, and possibly Patrick Shook, who caught that Hail Mary pass later on in the show. So stick around for that. 2A West, Reedsville will face Chase. Reedsville beat Providence Grove 51-25. Chase 35-14 winners over J.M. Robinson. Maiden leads Mount Pleasant 33-0 last check. They will host Bunker Hill, assuming that score holds. Bunker Hill, a 1-point winner over the 4C Community School Davidson 41-40 last night. Burns 42-0 over Shelby. They will host Salisbury, who beat Pine Lake Prep 48-13. Monroe 55-7 over Lincolnton. They will travel to East Surrey. East Surrey beat Hendersonville 21-16. 2A East, Brennan.
Yep, Princeton 71 points in their win over Hyde Trask last night, Nick. I think that was the fifth or sixth time that Princeton scored at least 50 points this season. So that offense just continues to roll. Cummings really really jumped out on Midway, didn't really give them much of a chance, cruised to another big win. And Princeton Cummings is going to be a matchup of two high-powered offenses, so something has to give there. Wallace Rose Hill, they were losing by 12 points in the second half at Northeastern. They were able to rally. So last year's finalists in 2A, they're still alive in the playoffs, but they'll be on the road once again going to Nash Central, which won a pretty close game against Green Central. It seemed like Nash Central was usually ahead for most of that game, but Green Central kept it close. But Wallace Rose Hill at Nash Central should be a good one next week. And then Whiteville really did a good job holding Holmes. I think Holmes came into that game averaging 51 points or around that mark, and they only had 35. 35 is still a big number, but it's not as big as Holmes is accustomed to. So Whiteville did enough on offense to get past Holmes in that game as well. And Hertford County against West Craven was a back and forth. That was a really good game. Went to overtime, and Hertford County escaping just with a 1-point win there. So Hertford will be heading to Whiteville next week in the third round. And Clinton South Granville, 26-0 final score. You wouldn't really guess it just by looking at that final score, but that was a 0-0 game at halftime. Clinton eventually was able to wear down South Granville and got the offense going as the game progressed. And they'll be going to East Duplin, which had a pretty close game with James Keenan. They ended up getting a 2-touchdown win, but James Keenan was not a slouch in that one. East Duplin really could not relax until the very end when they got that last touchdown to go up by two more scores. But Clinton at East Duplin should be a good one.
And finally, 1A West, Eastern Randolph, 28-12 winners over Mountain Heritage will host Robbinsville. They beat Cherokee 39-12. Hayesville, 14-13 winners over Christ the King, will travel to Mount Airy. They beat North Orland 57-7. And in the bottom part of the 1A bracket, we still got one game going on.
That's actually final now, Nick. It's not reflected yet in our bracket, but Drawn did defeat Mitchell by that score, 35-10.
All right, that should be getting updated momentarily. Here in the bracket, they will travel to Thomasville, who beat Swain County 21-0. Murphy over East Wilkes 38-34. Will travel to Andrews. They shut out Mountain Island Charter 35-0. And in the 1A East, Brennan.
Yep, Tarboro, just business as usual for them in their 48-0 win over Southeast Halifax. We heard from our correspondent last night that Tarboro was even to throw the ball well, which isn't it's kind of an added wrinkle to them, but 48 points, another strong offensive output from them, and they get a shutout as well. Riverside Williamston against North Edgecombe, they cruised to a 44-14 win. It seemed like Riverside was in control of that one the whole time. Tomorrow we do have one game that's being played at the 1A level, West Columbus against Washington County. Washington County is the road team in that game, and the winner of that one will be traveling to Northampton County, which won a close game against Northside 28-20. And then Rosewood over Warren County last night, 49-16. That game didn't start till 8 o'clock because Rosewood needed to wait for its boys soccer team to win their playoff game. But once the game started, they handled their business as well. It sets up an interesting matchup with 11 seed Hopton. From what we heard from Kai Jones last night, Hopton really likes to throw a ball on offense. So we'll see if Rosewood can contain that pass attack from Hopton. But continuing on, Perkins cruised to a pretty dominant win over East Columbus, 34-point win for the Pirates, and they'll be facing North Moore, which did just enough against Pender. Pender nearly squeaked out the upset victory, but North Moore, I believe they won on the game-winning or had the game-winning extra point by a player from their boys soccer team who was playing a boys soccer game against Voyager Academy just hours later. So perfect timing on his arrival.
Yep, and that's a quick look at the brackets as they stand now. Like we said, still a few games going on tonight in the western part of the state. Brennan will keep us updated on those as those go final. Brennan, we'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Sounds good.
All right, Corey Dinkle was in Johnston County tonight for the one Eastern Region game we had. That was Rollsville on the road at Cleveland tonight. And Corey, it was a very wet night in Johnston County. The rain coming down hard in that one, but the 11 seed Rollsville gets the 28-21 win over Cleveland. They advanced to the third round of the playoffs yet again. Tell us how that happened, because there was some drama at the end.
Yeah, the rain in the first half kind of kept them both at bay. They managed to get a touchdown each, and going into the half, it was tied up 7-7. Then when the rain let up that third quarter, Rollsville ran away with it. I reached down to wipe my glasses, and a turnover was going on. Rollsville was just plowing through, and then the fourth quarter, I guess, I don't know what it was, but Cleveland just decided, you know what, I'm not going to go out at just 7. And then they got another touchdown, and then a successful onside kick, which I've never seen in real life, which was fun. And then they went and got another one. So all of a sudden, it was a one-score ball game to tie it up. But unfortunately, Rollsville did stop them from doing that, and they closed it out 28-21.
We have a joke around here that we don't leave Cleveland games early because they are famous for doing that kind of stuff in the fourth quarter. What did Rollsville do to step up and stop them at the end? Because I believe Cleveland had 2 chances to score down 7, right?
Cleveland had a couple of chances. They got a really clutch fumble from Rollsville about less than 2 minutes to go, and they would have had a chance to really do something, but Rollsville defense just stepped up. They weren't even able to get a first down off that. And then they got the ball back and were able to just at that point run out the clock. But it was just that last stand, so to speak, that strong defense just stopped them from running away with it.
And Rollsville now is going to have a rematch with their big rival, Wake Forest, in the third round of the playoffs. That was a great game in the regular season, went all the way down to the very last play. Wake Forest did get the win, though, but those two teams were part of a 3-way tie for the conference championship in the NAC 6. So that will be a fun one to watch next week. I'm sure we will have coverage of that one. All right, Corey, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Nick.
All right, we've got some more action to talk about in the 4A playoffs, and we're going to head to the West. East Forsyth taking on Mount Tabor tomorrow in the second round. East Forsyth football coach Todd Willert joins us. Coach, thanks for joining us tonight. How are things looking on this extended week, getting ready for the second round of the playoffs?
Yeah, it's been a while. Or I should say, it's been kind of crazy not knowing if you're going to play Thursday, Friday, and now it's Saturday. So we're just excited to get going tomorrow. Try to get our field right. Today it was underwater, but our AD Alan Plaster said he'll have it ready to go tomorrow.
You guys are going to be playing a team that is a familiar opponent, conference opponent. You've already played them once this season, beat them 31-13 pretty early on in the conference season. What do you expect in this matchup? I know coaches don't like playing the same teams twice, but do you expect things to be any different than they were the first time around?
I hope not, since we won the first time, but they got a different looking offense with their quarterback, more of a run threat and can throw. So that will be a little different for us than what we've faced in conference. So we'll have to be ready for that. And obviously the field conditions, even though it's going to be dry in the air, the field's probably still going to be pretty wet since we have grass. And at this time of the year, there's not much grass left on the field.
You guys are 11-0, allowing just 8 points a game right now. I think 8.1. We'll call it 8 though. What is it about this defense that's so effective?
My defense coordinator Aaron Beal and they just do a good job. Our linebacker coach Drew Wicker, they have a great game plan every week. I don't do a lot with our defense. But then when you got guys like R.J. Brown and Matthew Joines and Nick Martin and then his brother Nate Martin, you got guys like that. Sometimes it's easy to coach too. You know, you got guys that make plays, and we got a bunch on defense.
You've also got some playmakers on offense. One of them, your quarterback, Jalen Rayner. He's going into this game 2,500 yards, just over 2,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Also has rushed for almost 1,200 yards and 16 touchdowns. Leads the team in rushing as the quarterback. It's got to be pretty fun to coach somebody as special as that.
We've had great quarterbacks at East Forsyth. You know, with Ty Lyles, who won 2 state titles, and Danny O'Brien, Garrison Duncan, Brandon, but this guy's special, man. He really is. His leadership qualities, everything he does on and off the field, and to be that dual threat, but really can throw the ball. I mean, he can run, but he really likes to throw the ball, and he's got some great weapons to throw too.
Well, that's for sure too. I mean, people can go look at Max Preps and see see all the team stats on there, because they're pretty impressive. I want to bring up the bracket real fast. Like we said, you're going to be playing Mount Tabor on Saturday. I think it's a 3:00 game, right?
Yes, 3:00.
3:00 in the afternoon. The winner will get Huff. Huff has beaten Mallard Creek. I know you don't want to look ahead as a coach, but you know, in our line of work, we oftentimes do that. When you look at this bracket, not just Huff, but you know, down the road, Independence or potentially Grimsley or Charlotte Catholic. I mean, what do you see? Is this a bracket that you think this team can make a run in?
Yeah, most definitely. I think we can make a run. You know, the 4A period, but the 4A West is just unbelievable. It's brutal. You know, it really is. Playing someone like Mount Tabor in the second round is a tough game. And then you go in, and tonight I think, you know, you got AC Reynolds. I believe they beat Chambers. AC Reynolds is unbelievable. You got Huff beating Mallard Creek. Once again, 2 other wonderful teams. You got Grimsley playing tomorrow night too. I mean, with Charlotte Catholic, I mean, all these teams could have made a run or will make a run. It's just a brutal playoff schedule, but we're excited. We love the challenge. And, you know, no doubt about it, if you can make it through the 4A West, you've done something special in the football season.
All right, one last question for you. If you guys are going to get the job done tomorrow, what have you told your team? What has to happen? What has to go right?
We got to win field position. I think that's going to be very, very important tomorrow with the weather and the field conditions, and try not to turn the ball over. And if we can handle that, I think we'll be good. I tell the guys, we just want to go out and win by 1 point, and that's what's important tomorrow.
All right. Well, East Forsyth football coach Todd Willard, we appreciate the time. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks. Go Eagles.
All right. That again, East Forsyth taking on Mount Tabor tomorrow, 3:00 in the second round of the 4A West State Playoffs. We're going to take our first break tonight. We'll be back in 2 minutes with more here on the High School OT Live Postgame Show.
Do you have the Breeze Through VIP Rewards app? For every dollar spent in-store and for every gallon pumped at a Breeze Through location, you can earn points to trade for a variety of your favorite snacks and beverages, or for savings at the pump. Don't forget the member deals, only available to VIP members. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and start earning rewards today.
When you see a WRAL certified accurate forecast, you know it's been verified by the largest team of meteorologists with the most powerful tools in North Carolina.
We personally write every alert and send them directly to you so that you'll always know when severe weather is at your doorstep.
Tracking severe weather or everyday weather, no matter where or how you watch. Always local, always live, always protecting what matters to you.
And that's coverage you can count on.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks. We're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid's solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You see my kid?
Yeah!
Wake up with the most watched.
Thanks for making us part of your routine.
Whether you're a 4 a.m. type or an 8 a.m. type.
Only one team is all local all morning long, alerting you first wherever you are.
Building on fire.
So, get the forecast you need to plan your day. Check out downtown Raleigh and traffic to get you wherever you need to go smoothly.
Plus, breaking news and local coverage.
This is exactly what parents have to go through.
Tomorrow morning, every morning. Watch WREL Mornings.
Welcome back to the High School OT Live postgame. Nick Stevens here in Raleigh. We're going to bring Brennan Doherty back in real fast. Brennan, give us a quick update on the scores that we have coming in right now.
Yep, got two more final scores to report, Nick. Butler 41, Mooresville 21. So Butler gets the road win. Mooresville actually scored the final 2 touchdowns, so that score doesn't really tell the whole story of how dominant of a performance it was for Butler on the road tonight. They were winning 41-7 in the fourth quarter before Mooresville added on 2 touchdowns. And West Henderson, West Rowan in the battle of 2 West teams, also nicknamed the Falcons, as noted in Joel Bryant's preview for today. It's West Henderson who comes out on top with the 56-42 win.
All right, Brennan Doherty with those updates. We will get back to you shortly. Thank you. All right, let's head back to the 4A West. We are going to check in with Independence football coach Daryl McFadden. Coach, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Independence coming off a big win last night, 55-6 over Olympic. This is the first time that you have been to the third round as a program since 2009. And I believe I read on the team's Twitter account, this is the first time your seniors have been in the playoffs. What has this run been like this season for you and for this team?
Yeah, it's been great, man. We got a group of seniors that's never been in the playoffs before, never really experienced this before. So to see them have the success that they've had this year, the work that they've put in this year, and be able to play in the third round, it's just been great. We're not done yet. We got some more work to be done. We're excited to get to work tomorrow and get ready for third round.
Last night, a very dominant win. Joel Bryant was there for us. Again, 55-6 over the 9 seed Olympic. You'll face the winner of Charlotte Catholic and Grimsley in the second round. What went right last night? How did you beat a pretty good Olympic team so convincingly?
Yeah, we had a good week of practice. We like to prepare each week the same way. I thought the kids came out and executed. They came out with a chip on their shoulder. That was a good football team coming over, and we felt like they were coming over to prove something as well. There were a lot of firsts in that game. This was, I think, the first time Olympics had a chance to go 12-0. First time they might have had a chance to go third round. So there was a lot of firsts in this game. So we came in with the mindset that something had to give, and our kids came out and they started fast, man. And just very proud of how they were able to sustain that and sustain that competitive edge the whole night.
We talked a little bit about the senior class. You've also got a sophomore quarterback who's pretty darn good. Justin Little, 2,800 yards, 26 touchdowns, 555 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns, leads the team in rushing. To have a sophomore with that much poise at such an important position, that's obviously important for this year and part of this run y'all are making. But for you as a coach building a program, how big of a deal is that?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you got a quarterback, you got a chance. And it's even better when he's a sophomore, playing varsity, playing in some big-time football games throughout the regular season, and then doing what he's doing in the playoffs. I mean, it's big for us. It's big for our program. And he makes us go, man. He's been so steady this year. He's just getting better and better. And he's our leader. We look to him for big plays, and, hopefully he can keep playing well for us.
Your receivers also playing pretty well. You got 4 receivers over 400 yards, another right at 400 yards. This team, is there a weakness that for teams to exploit? Because you put up 55 points in the playoffs against a pretty good Olympic team. Where's the weakness? Why is this not a team that can make a really deep run in the playoffs, come out of the West maybe?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of playmakers. We're three deep at running back, and then when you add in Justin, that gives us another fourth threat there. We play about 4 and 5 receivers as well as our tight end. Our O-line's been steady all year. We like to think we're pretty tough on offense. We're pretty balanced, and that's been good for us as well, man. And as long as we keep working and keep executing at a high level, I think we'll be a tough out for anybody, man. And we think all along, man, that we can make a run at this thing. You get into the playoffs, a lot of things got to go right. You can go your way. But we're playing some good ball these last couple weeks of the season, man. So hopefully, the guys stay locked in, which I don't think that'd be an issue because they understand what's at stake for them. But yeah, man, we feel like we can make a run at this thing. We just stay locked in and keep preparing the same way we have.
Charlotte Catholic, Grimsley play tomorrow night. What do you know about those two teams right now?
Very familiar with Grimsley's start there. When I was at Butler a couple years ago, we went down there and played those guys in the semifinals game, and they're well coached. They're huge. They're fast. They're athletic. I know they got 2 D tackles there now. When we got the Page game, play Page in the first round, we actually got that Grimsley game, so we got to see him. Quarterback's real good. So very familiar with those guys. And Charlotte Catholic, same thing. I mean, we played those guys the past 2 years. Had a chance to, win that game first time we played them this year. I think 1 point loss. So very familiar with both of them. When you get into the third round, man, any team in the third round has a chance to win it. So each team is a state championship contender at that point. So whoever comes out of that game and we got to see in the third round, we know it's going to be a fight.
I want to bring up the playoff bracket real fast. You see Independence there, the 8 going to play the winner of 1 Grimsley and 17 Charlotte Catholic. We know Huff beat Mallard Creek tonight. We don't know who won Mount Tabor East Forsyth yet. They'll play tomorrow afternoon. But when you look at all those teams there, I mean, this is a loaded bracket. What else do you see in this bracket? What has to go right for you guys to advance to the 4th or 5th round?
I mean, we just gotta worry about and control what we can control. That's our preparation. That's what we do Monday through Thursday, and then go out there on Friday night, execute the game plan, and play to our standard. We can't worry about who wins this game, who wins that game, where it's going to be at, this, that, and the third, all the logistical stuff. We just got to take care of that once it presents itself. But right now, our main goal right now is see who comes out or get to work tomorrow morning first and foremost. And then sit back and wait and see what happens tomorrow night with Catholic and Grimsley, and then jump on that week of preparation.
That sounds good. Well, Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Independence, again, gets the winner of Grimsley and Charlotte Catholic next week in the 3rd round. All right, we're going to stick in the 4A West and bring in Kyle Morton. He was down at Mooresville tonight. Oh, Kyle, looks like you've been standing in the rain maybe. I tell you what, it's nice and dry here at the office. He saw number 15 Butler at number 2 Mooresville, and Kyle, Butler had to have looked impressive in that one.
Yeah, they did. Very methodical. They take the lead early, they give it up, and then their defense just locks it down, and the offense keeps putting together these nice drives. They score in a variety of ways. Quarterback Zach Lawrence, really impressive. Some nice plays from their playmakers. An outrageous touchdown from tight end Peyton Scott that you'll be able to see on the High School OT Instagram later whenever I have a chance to cut some video here in a McDonald's parking lot or a Sheets or something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so look out for that on Instagram. But Butler, very impressive. And I think the lesson we've learned these last 2 nights is that I think more so than ever, the 4A, both West and East, are so wide open that we don't really know who's going to win a given game. And Butler looked like a team that has the fundamentals down and has the talent on both sides of the ball, the size on the line, that they're probably feeling like, why not us? Just like you were kind of talking about with Coach McFadden. Like, Independence doesn't have a weakness. I didn't really see much of one in Butler tonight. So that's kind of the takeaway I have, is there's a number of teams I think that can come out of the West here.
Somebody has to lose. That's the thing about the playoffs. So when you look at this Butler team and the fact you just said they don't really have much of a weakness that you saw tonight, I mean, what do you expect to see from them going forward? They're going to be going to Asheville next week in the 3rd round to take on an AC Reynolds team that beat the defending 4A runner-up Chambers tonight in pretty dramatic fashion. What do you expect from that game with Butler? Or I'm sorry,
I think
Butler's game with AC Reynolds.
I think they're gonna try to play their game. I mean, just to kind of opine on AC Reynolds for a second, they're probably feeling more on top of the world than you could imagine. They're probably bringing a massive amount of confidence into next week after beating Chambers. After probably basically everyone in the state pretty much told them they couldn't do that, and then for them to go ahead and do it. So Butler's going to have to go on the road. They're going to have to handle that environment. They're going to have to handle that cold that we think is going to be rolling in, especially in the mountain region. And they're going to have to stick to those strong fundamentals, the good play on the lines. They've got some good athleticism in their back seven on defense, which I think is going to be helpful. Good combination of athleticism and size there. I haven't seen AC Reynolds play yet this year, so I can't really do too much of a here's how they might attack them specifically analysis. But I think Butler feels pretty comfortable playing any sort of game. They had a pretty good intermediate passing game mixed in with some deep shots. They ran the ball effectively. So I think they feel like they can do anything at a good enough level to beat anyone right now. That's probably going to be their mindset, is just to kind of see where, if they can weather the weather and the crowd and just the confidence that Reynolds is going to have, I think they'll have a shot.
Real quick, when we look at the 4A West bracket, which I'm trying to get pulled up here, and the computer's not letting me. Here we go. When we look at the 4A West bracket, we don't know who will come out of the Watauga Northwest Guilford game yet. They play tomorrow night, but the winner will get Weddington. And obviously the winner of that game will play the winner of Butler and AC Reynolds. Do you have any just general thoughts on this? We'll call it a section, even though we don't do sectionals anymore. But do you have any thoughts on this section of the playoffs now that you've seen Butler?
Yeah, I mean, I think you probably look at Weddington as a favorite against Watauga or Northwest Guilford. They're always a really tough team, and I kind of got a little bit of maybe a Weddington vibe from Butler tonight. The Weddington we've kind of gotten used to, just no mistakes. They can kind of vary it up on offense. So I think that would maybe be an interesting matchup. I think it would be pretty cool to see AC Reynolds play Watauga, a Boone versus Asheville game in a 4A West. That would be pretty neat. I think.
And you're going to want to cover that one, aren't you?
I would. We'll see what the forecast looks like that week. But, I'm not saying no right now. Yeah.
Well, the forecast next week looks cold to me, so I can't imagine it's going to be warmer after next week.
Yeah.
Especially when you go up a mountain. All right, Kyle Borton, he will have coverage tonight of Butler Mooresville on high school OT. Safe trip back. We'll see you later.
All right, see ya. Thanks.
All right, we will have more from the rest of our crew who is in the field, and we've got other coaches and players coming up. After the break, we'll hear from Mallard Creek and Huff from high school OT's Joel Bryant. We'll also be joined by Jordan football coach Justin Allred, the Falcons making a big run in the playoffs. That's after this quick break.
It made perfect sense. I come here every day because of the great customer service and friendly atmosphere. So I bought my Breeze Through Lifetime Refill mug. For only $19.99, I got a stainless steel mug and get free refills forever. Or grab a regular refill mug for $9.99 and enjoy discounted refills every time you stop by. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else.
Show your support for the best in the Triangle in the WRAL Voters' Choice Awards presented by M&F Bank.
From takeout to weekend getaways.
Cast your vote online at WRAL.com/VCAs. And remember, voting ends November 20th.
Welcome to my new holiday outpost at WRAL's Nights of Light. My elves are hard at work preparing the holiday selfie stations, crafts, and more. And of course, Mrs. Claus and I'll be there. Reserve your visit now.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
I get her, not solo.
You see if I did?
Yeah.
At WRAL, we have the tools.
Storms are firing up on the dual Doppler 5000 radar.
We have the team.
We are live here in downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street.
And WRAL News at 6 has the people you've known and trusted for decades.
I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owens. We begin tonight with breaking news. Every night,
Everywhere.
I'm Mark Boyle in the WRAL Live Center this afternoon.
no matter how you're watching.
And that's coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to the High School OT Live post-game show. I'm Nick Stevens. We're going to go back to Brennan Doherty real fast. We have all final scores in from tonight now. Brennan, give us a quick rundown of everything that went final tonight. And we still have a few games tomorrow, but most of the second round now complete.
Yep, all of our final scores are in now. The last game we were waiting on was the 2A matchup in 2A West between Maiden and Mount Pleasant. Maiden ended up winning that one 46-13. That was the final score. Maiden was in control really from beginning to the end in that one. Mount Pleasant picked up some points in the second half as the game went on. But with the win, Maiden, they'll be facing Bunker Hill in the third round, and those two teams played a really close game. I think the final score was 36-34 just about a month ago, so that should be a really good third round matchup. But yeah, just going through the other 8 games that we had on the docket tonight, we just had Kyle Morton on to break down Butler's 41-21 win over Mooresville. And they'll be taking on AC Reynolds next after their 17-16 win over Chambers. The Rockets were able to kick the game-winning field goal from 41 yards out with just under 2 minutes left, and Chambers turned the ball over on downs on the ensuing possession. So AC Reynolds, huge win for them. And like we were also just talking about with Kyle, that home field advantage could really mean something as the weather gets colder up there in the mountains. But at the 3A level, West Charlotte, really dominant performance over High Brighton, 56-7 was the final score there. And they'll be taking on Kings Mountain, who also handled its business in fine fashion against Smoky Mountain with a 42-0 shutout victory there. Going back to the 4A level, we talked about the Huff Mallard Creek game earlier a little bit. Huff using 3 field goals from Nolan Hauser to win 16-6 over Mallard Creek. That's what really powered their win in addition to a strong defensive performance. The second time those teams played each other this year, and like the first matchup, there were 22 combined points. So another low-scoring affair between those two teams. And Rollsville got the 28-21 win over Cleveland. Rollsville jumped out to a 28-7 advantage. And Cleveland, they got back in the game, scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, one of which came after an onside kick. And they also turned Rollsville over late in the fourth quarter when it looked like Rollsville was going to be able to really just run the clock out or maybe add on an insurance score. But Cleveland had one last chance, but they couldn't get it done. And West Henderson at the 3A level, you really need to rely on their offense, and they ran out as 56-42 winners over West Rowan. The 1A level, Drawn handled Mitchell 35-10. That was another rematch of an earlier season matchup, and it's Drawn that's moving on to the next round in the 1A playoffs.
All right, you can see all those final scores and updated interactive brackets right now on highschoolot.com and on the free High School OT app. Brennan, thanks for the update.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, we're going to head back to the 4A West real fast and check in at number 12 Mallard Creek at number 5 Huff. That is where Joel Bryant was tonight in Charlotte for the second straight night. Joel, tell us what went down in that one, and you are muted, by the way, so you're going to want to unmute yourself. Tell us what went down in this one as Huff beat Mallard Creek 16-6.
Well, Brennan hit it on the head. Their kicker, Huff's kicker, Nolan Hauser, he is a 5-star kicker in the class of 2024. I didn't realize this going into the game, but I was watching him in warmups, and this guy is hitting 60, 65-yard field goals in warmups. And I was like, that's not normal. And then I did a quick search. Chris Taylor kicking as a
60 or 65-yard field goals?
He was kicking 60 and 65-yard field goals in warmups. And wow. I was like, that's not normal. So I looked him up, and then Chris Taylor kicking has him as a 5-star kicker. And literally the difference in this game was the 10 points that Nolan Hauser scored with his 3 field goals and extra point. Not only that, but they had Huff pretty much controlled this game from the get-go because they had an 80-yard punt by their punter, Owen Fair. It basically sent the ball all the way down from their own 19 all the way down to Mallard Creek's 1-yard line. And then that just started like this whole constant field position advantage that Huff had throughout the whole first half. It just never kind of ended. Mallard Creek would barely get anything going. Then they'd punt the ball, then Huff would have the ball at midfield. It just kind of never ended after that big punt. So their special teams that Huff has is a pretty big difference maker. And I think, even in that AC Reynolds Chambers game tonight, you see the value of special teams in that one. The fact that AC Reynolds, A, hit the field goal, and B, Chambers didn't really have that weapon to be able to hit back at them.
One thing that I've noticed about this game compared to some of the others that we've seen in the 4A West so far, it was low scoring. And there are some high-powered offenses in the 4A West. So after seeing Huff in person now, how do you think that defense stacks up against some of the offenses that they're going to see if they keep winning, potentially East Forsyth next week in the third round, or down the road maybe in Independence that put up 55 points last night? Obviously, you saw that team last night in person also.
They're really stout. They're really disciplined on the defensive line. They control their gaps when they're supposed to. The linebackers just fly to the ball. Anytime the Mallard Creek would run a bubble screen or any kind of quick RPO, like they're after them within like a split second. They fly to the ball, really disciplined. They don't miss any tackles. That's one thing I noticed. Is a lot of times you'll see in high school games a lot of missed tackles, but I don't think Huff missed a single tackle all night against a pretty physical Mallard Creek offense. So they are just really well coached. They got the players. There's no overwhelming size in that defense. There's no Ja Jarrett on that defensive line, but they are just really all sound players, I think.
Bring up the 4A West bracket real fast, and you'll see Huff will get the winner of number 20 Mount Tabor, number 4 East Forsyth. They play at 3:00 tomorrow afternoon. How do you see that game breaking down now, Joel?
The East Forsyth Tabor game?
No, whoever wins that facing Huff.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I know East Forsyth, they have a pretty good size themselves. You just talked about their defense with Coach Willard. That could be a low-scoring game just based on the two defenses that we see. But then again, if you're in low-scoring games with Huff, they have basically the ultimate weapon in their 5-star kicker, Nolan Hauser. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if we've talked about this, but I might be seeing that game tomorrow. So I think I'll have a better answer.
I'm glad you said that, because I was planning to tell you that, and I didn't know if you would take it for 2 days. I'm glad to hear you say that, though.
I'm a step ahead of you.
I actually have a doubleheader for you tomorrow.
Yes, there's the Charlotte Catholic Grimsley game, and then the East Forsyth and Mount Tabor game.
That's right. All right.
Perfect.
Joel, safe trip back to Raleigh. 16-6 Huff over Mallard Creek tonight. He'll have coverage on High School OT. Thanks. All right. We're going to go back to the 4A East now and talk about a game that happened last night and a team that is making a big run in the 4A playoffs. The Jordan Falcons got a win last night at Pinecrest, 32-28, came back from down big at halftime, and now they travel to number 2 New Bern in the second round. We're going to bring in Jordan head coach Justin Allred. Coach, congratulations on the win, first of all, on the wins, plural wins. How does it feel to know you are headed for the third round of the state playoffs?
It'd feel better if it wasn't New Bern, but it's definitely a blessing. I think my team has earned that. They've played their way through this, and I'm just excited to be here.
All right, I don't know if you know this or not, but we do have someone else to bring in here. I told TJ Thorpe he needed to jump on. TJ missed being here every Friday night after last week, having the night off. So we're going to bring him in virtually and let him talk a little bit also. TJ's been part of some Jordan teams, obviously, but you've done something he never did, win a playoff game. And
you can't talk to TJ like that. It's TJ Thorpe on there. We don't say that.
Hey, man, when you have a Marion Blue, TJ Thorpe is just a figment of everybody's.
I was going to say, people are going to forget who you are now. He's still got 2 years left over there.
Well, and that's the thing. And Coach Allred can speak to Amarion Blues, just the tip of the iceberg. And that's the thing that people don't really get to see, that I knew coming into this season, because I had the pleasure of helping him out last year and being on the sideline with Coach and seeing what he does, behind the scenes. And so coming into this season, Nick, I'm glad you get to say it in front of everybody. But I told you, if this team happens to gel the way that they can and the way that Coach will probably speak to here in a second, they have no way. Third round is just the starting point. So now the season's getting started now. So I'm excited. I've been talking junk to all my Carolina friends and stuff. So I might even drive down myself. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, Coach, he brought up Amarian Blue, and that's one of a few sophomores you've got. But he's got over 2,000 rushing yards now, 26 touchdowns, a punt return for a touchdown, a kick return for a touchdown. What does he bring to this team at Jordan this season?
To be honest with you, he's absolutely dynamic. Pretty much anything we ask him to do, he's played safety, he plays linebacker, he's running back, receiver, he's thrown a touchdown pass. With him, his leadership, how he plays the game, he just kind of elevates everyone around him. And he pushes us as coaches to get better, to put him in a better position to be successful. So, we've really enjoyed watching him play football. I know I do. He's one of my favorite things to watch. So,
you guys are 6-6 now. At the end of the regular season, I guess it was the week before the end of the regular season when you lost to Southern Alamance, we weren't sure that Jordan would still get into the playoffs. Obviously, you did, and now you are in the third round. Is this a case of a young team kind of finding its footing as the course of the season goes?
Well, and I mean, at the point we were 1-5, we were missing 3 key players, guys that two of them that hadn't played a snap, one that we lost in a scrimmage. So we knew once we got healthy, we were going to be a little hard to handle. And I think the Southern Alamance game kind of caught us in a time when it was like, all right, we're trying to get these guys back on their feet, back in, play in shape and everything like that. And right now, I got all my cats, and we're just kind of rolling.
TJ, I know you want to talk about the sophomores.
Hey, man, I told you. I tell you every Friday, the 2 sophomores.
He literally tells me every Friday.
But it's not even just the sophomores. That's the thing. That like this team, since last season, you could see it come on near the end. And this team has, Caden Chalowski, big senior tight end. You have Luke Dale, who's one of the players who was pivotal last year who did not play a snap, right? So Hillside got off easy. Things like that, and I think that you have other people like, was it Tyler Clark? Huge piece on the O line and D line who didn't play in a lot of pivotal games as well. So and just being a undermanned team, like as Coach said, he's missing players. They're not huge on numbers, but the biggest thing is this team, they play for each other. And that they enjoy playing, at least from what I see on Instagram, they enjoy being around each other, and they're always together and they're always doing things. And it's a testament to what Coach is doing and building the boys up.
I'll say this. I do think we have a great sense of family in our program. I think the kids do care for one another. And that was no more evident than in about the fourth quarter last night. We dug ourselves a pretty big hole. So climbing out of that wasn't easy nor fun. But if you look at the program that we have, if you look at the different things going on, 4 of our 5 offensive linemen started last season and will start next season. They don't graduate. I lose my left tackle to graduation. So, we've got a young core group. Marion and Amaris obviously toting the note there. I've got a freshman lineman, Noah Clark, who is – he's that. So, we're going to be okay, in the future. But I definitely, my focus right now is on New Bern and trying to get out of the third round. I feel like the only time that you can really be an upset or put on the glass slipper is if you keep wearing that rascal. That's what we'll try to do.
You mentioned the New Bern game. Obviously, they're the 2 seed, undefeated on the season. They're going to run the football. That's what they do. They're big up front on defense, especially. What's the game plan? Like, how do you approach this matchup with the Bears on Friday night?
Well, one thing we kind of learned through the process of our season is that, we're not going to just take away something. We're going to focus on what we do well. We're going to play our brand of football and, try to take the air out of the ball a little bit, see if we can't slow this game down and, let our athletes do what our athletes do.
TJ, we've seen New Bern a couple times. What do you think?
I mean, what Coach said is right. I mean, if there's any other team you would rather play, you hate seeing the ground and pound. You know it's going to be 4 downs. You know it's going to be one of those games where every possession is going to matter. And I think the biggest thing is exactly what Coach said. We're going to play our brand of football. and that's what it is. At the end of the day, the pressure is on New Bern in my eyes. Jordan High School wasn't a thought to be in the 3rd round. And now that we're here, and now that, Coach got everybody playing the right way, guys are coming back, I think that these boys are going to come on the field and accept the challenge. I mean, this is the type game to make a name for yourself. You got a Florida State recruit. You got a number 2 team who could be the number 1 team. You got a chance to do something that Jordan's never done, as you said. And I'm excited. I'm excited because I feel like I'm going to just be talking crazy to everybody.
One thing I don't think is I don't think Coach Norwell down there gets enough credit, man. That dude has flipped that program completely 180 around, and they're loaded.
Yeah,
I mean, we got a little bit of film today, and good gravy. I mean, I know the kid that's going to Florida State's good, but he's one of 3 on their D line that are absolute dudes, and then their secondary's fast. Mm-hmm. Their offensive line is fast. The whole team is fast, and it's like. He's coaching his hind end off down there, and there's not enough people talking about what he's building. So,
before we let you go, Coach, one last question for you. The DAC 7, we're in the 3rd round of the playoffs. There are 3 teams left from the DAC 7. Hillside is in the 3rd round. They'll play Pine Forest. Southern Alamance is in the 3rd round. They upset New Hanover in the 2nd round. They will travel to Millbrook in the 3rd round. Obviously, Hillside's the overall number 1 seed. We've got you guys, Jordan, in the 3rd round as well. I mean, if you want to look at it as a Durham thing, Southern Durham is in the 3rd round of the 3A playoffs.
There you go.
Talk about football in that conference and football in the Bull City.
I'm going to be honest, coming from Eastern North Carolina in my time at Rose, I thought I was biased. I thought out east was some really good football, and it is. I mean, it's incredible speed, young men that just eat, sleep, and breathe the game. But up here in Durham, I mean, every week that you strap up a helmet and you play somebody from Durham, you're going to catch the best game you've seen from anybody else that you could have seen. I mean, these guys are animals. And you put on film of Hillside, and you're like, oh, my goodness. Then you put on film of Southern, you're like, what in the – it's just we're loaded up here in Durham. Now, there's athletes abounding, and they're coming out, they're playing hard. They're doing exactly what we need them to do for us at Jordan. I mean, you look at that. We lost to Southern Alamance and to Hillside by a combined 9 points. I mean, there's a lot of parity. A lot of these teams are fantastic, and we have a lot of opportunity to sharpen our swords so that when we get to this point in the season, we're ready to go. And I think you're seeing that a little bit.
Well, Coach, good luck next week in the 3rd round at New Bern. We appreciate you joining us here on our post-game show. See if TJ makes the trip down to watch that one. TJ, you're going to stick around for another segment here in a minute, right?
I'm going to hang out for a little while, and then I got to get to bed.
Yeah, it's past TJ's bedtime. All right, Coach, we appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thanks for having me.
You look a little more handsome on camera now. Go on, man. Got
the playoff beard coming.
There you go. There you go.
All right, we are going to head west now to the 3A playoffs. High Brighton on the road at West Charlotte tonight. We've got David Jones and Jeff Link from Scoreboard Radio. They were calling that game tonight. Hey guys, tell us what went down in that one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nick, it was all West Charlotte. They went to the air attack early. The freshman quarterback, Katie Smith, had 3 touchdown passes to Keemon Fleming, 9, 31, and 19 yards. Then they went to the ground game. Caleb Behringer had 2 rushing touchdowns, and it was all West Charlotte from the get-go.
Yeah, and when the West Charlotte offense wasn't clicking, Nick, it was the defense. A 75-yard scoop and score from Orlandis Reynolds was a big play in the game. They also had a pick-6 late off of the backup quarterback High Brighton put in the game. That was Demarion DuBose. And so High Brighton with 5 fumbles tonight, 4 of them lost, 2 interceptions. It was just a kind of a wet, sloppy field tonight, even on the turf at West Meck. And West Charlotte with a lot of speed, especially up front in the trenches. That's going to be a heck of a matchup next week as they travel to take on Kings Mountain. That should be a good one.
That was going to be my next question for you. With that win, they now travel to the overall number 1 seed in the 3A West, Kings Mountain. Do you think this is a West Charlotte team that has what it takes to knock off the top seed in the region?
Well, it was a game last year. This will be a rematch. Kings Mountain knocked out West Charlotte last year. They've got the athletes to do it. I mean, they're solid. You just don't know if Kings Mountain has really gotten out to quick, explosive scores. Last week against St. Stephen's, jumped out to a 42-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. Tonight, jumped out to the quick 14-0 lead against Smoky Mountain. So if West Charlotte can survive that early onslaught, keep the game in the second half, I think they got the key weapons. But that Kings Mountain team, they may be a team of destiny this year. They're awful good.
Cleveland County football in that area is just so tough. I know Shelby's out of the playoffs now, but Crest is good. Burns is good. Kings Mountain is good. They're battle tested. And West Charlotte coming out of that Queen City 3A, 4A with Chambers and other big schools in there. I feel like that's going to be a clash of the Titans next week. That game, along with the Maiden Bunker Hill rematch, those are going to be 2 good football games in this part of the state next Friday.
Real quick, tell us what kind of coverage you guys have planned for the next round.
We're going to be following Drone Wildcats, 1A team from the West. They won tonight 35-10 over Mitchell. Traveled to Thomasville, won last night over Swain County. So we'll be down at Thomasville next week for the 3-6 matchup. And David Jones and I are excited about eating some barbecue down towards Lexington.
Look, that's the wrong kind of barbecue, man.
I like it.
Only vinegar-based barbecue. Sorry. You're on my show this time. David Jones and Jeff Lake of Scoreboard Radio. We appreciate it. Y'all have a safe trip back home.
All right. Thanks a lot. See you, Nick.
All right. Real quick, before we go to commercial break, I want to bring TJ Thorpe back in. And TJ, last night, we had several big games across the state. Here in Wake County, we had one that should probably not have been a second-round game, but it was. And Millbrook went on the road, and they beat the defending 4A state champion, Cardinal Gibbons.
I didn't think it could be done. I didn't think it could be done because that Nick Drew defense, but all right, Nick, they figured you out.
Well, not only did they figure it out, they scored 42 points. I mean, what are your thoughts on Millbrook now as they prepare to make a run here to the 3rd round?
I don't know. I think they're pretending on playing. I think Millbrook is one of the most well put together teams, I think, top to bottom, from Xavier Pugh, both sides of the ball return game. You got DK Bryan in the special teams game. You got David Santiago. You got Ian Rembert. You got Nathan Leacock. You got Mason Fortune. I could go on for days, as you can see. And I've watched them a good bit to know, Jaden Ferguson, Mr. Scoop and Score, like all these different things, So the play calling's great. They rally on defense. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. I know Ty Broughton's probably watching this like, why did I get mentioned in this slew of guys who can make plays? And the list goes on, right? So I think Millbrook is one of those teams that they're only in this situation because of how strong their conference is. I mean, you have maybe 4 or 5 teams from their conference. Almost the whole conference made it, pretty much, minus Wakefield, I think. So yeah. It's one of those situations where 3-way tie for first. They're one of those teams that the ranking doesn't show you who they truly are.
They got 3 teams in that conference left, although Wake Forest and Rolls will play in the 3rd round next week. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back at the top of the hour, we're going to hear from a few of those Millbrook players, Mason Fortune, Xavier Pugh, Jaden Ferguson, all standing by to talk about the win over Cardinal Gibbons and what's coming up next in the 3rd round for the Wildcats. That's next after a quick break.
Do you have the Breeze Through VIP Rewards app? For every dollar spent in-store and for every gallon pumped at a Breeze Through location, you can earn points to trade for a variety of your favorite snacks and beverages. or for savings at the pump. Don't forget the member deals, only available to VIP members. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and start earning rewards today.
WRAL's Nights of Lights is back with thousands of new lights. Along the route, you'll encounter 30-foot-tall dinosaurs and a brand new 250-foot animated tunnel. Get your tickets now, as some experiences are already sold out. Stop by the brand new Holiday Outpost and meet Santa. Ho, ho, ho! Get your tickets now at WRALNightsofLights.com.
Wake up with the most watched.
Thanks for making us part of your routine.
Whether you're a 4 a.m. type or an 8 a.m. type.
Only one team is all local all morning long, alerting you first wherever you are.
Building on fire.
So get the forecast you need to plan your day. Check out downtown Raleigh and traffic to get you wherever you need to go smoothly. Plus, breaking news and local coverage.
This is exactly what parents have to go through.
Tomorrow morning, every morning, watch WRAL Mornings.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid's solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo!
You saying I did?
Yeah!
All right, welcome back to High School OT Live postgame show. I'm Nick Stevens. We're going to bring Brendan Doherty back in to look ahead to the games we have on Saturday. We do have 5 games across the state tomorrow that were postponed from tonight. Brendan, there are some games that are, I think, headliners that are going to be very interesting to follow tomorrow night. You want to walk us through the ones we've got?
Yep, we got 5 games left in the second round, Nick, being played tomorrow, and some of the headliners, like you said, Charlotte Catholic against Grimsley in the 4th round. Obviously, that's a huge game. Charlotte Catholic will and they'll be facing Grimsley in another big game tomorrow. And we were talking about East Forsyth earlier with their head coach. They'll be facing Mount Tabor, another big matchup. That's at 3 p.m. tomorrow. And then Watauga Northwest Guilford, another very consequential 4A game there. Watauga is the home team in that one, hosting Northwest Guilford. And then Lee County traveling to North Brunswick at the 3A level. Lee County won at Currituck last week, and they're going to have a tough challenge on the road against North Brunswick, a team that's done kind of everything well this season. They're well-rounded as a unit. And then the 1A level, we have Washington County visiting West Columbus at 7:30 p.m. So those are the 5 games to watch for tomorrow.
All right, Brendan, we appreciate it. We'll get back to you a little bit later tonight.
Sounds good.
All right, we're going to bring back in TJ Thorpe. And TJ, this is the one you've been waiting for. I know he wanted to stick around. Well, he was excited about Jordan. Don't get me wrong. He wanted to stick around. You said what?
That's the one I was waiting for. Come on now. I ain't even taking it off yet. What are we even talking about?
We do have 3 of the Millbrook players who made big plays in the 4th quarter last night to, I guess we have to say it's an upset because it's a seed. We'll ask them if they think it's an upset. 42-30, Millbrook beating Cardinal Gibbons. Jaden Ferguson, Mason Fortune, Xavier Pugh, all joining us here tonight on High School OT Live postgame show. Guys, congratulations on the win last night. I guess we'll start there. Do y'all think it was an upset?
Nah. No.
Yeah, that's what y'all are supposed to say. All of you guys made big plays. Each of you scored or played a role in scoring a touchdown in the 4th quarter. If people haven't read that story, they can check it out right now on High School OT. There were 7 lead changes in that game last night. In the 4th quarter, Mason, you threw a pass to David Santiago, made it 27-21. Gibbons still ahead. Then Xavier, 4-yard touchdown run, made it 28-27. That was set up by an interception from Ian Rembert. Gibbons hit a 41-yard field goal to make it 30-28. Then Xavier scores again, a 6-yard run. And Jaden, you got the scoop and score to seal the win, 42-30, the final score. TJ, I'm going to start with you here.
Okay.
I'll let you start with Xavier because you've been really big on his game since you saw him at the high school.
That's my dog. That's my dog right there. Yeah. Why? I'm sorry, y'all. Other ones, everybody else is good, right? But something about Xavier Pugh shows up, and they all can attest to it. My man shows up on tape, and it's contagious. You can see him lead blocking on punts. You can see him striking people, filling the alley at safety. And then obviously the man can tote the rock. Like I don't really see a flaw in his game. So all these college, coaches and whatever, I don't know what the holdup is. I really don't. It's time to flood this man out until the time he leaves. Like what are we talking about? And I could go on for days. I enjoy watching this team.
Xavier, 2 touchdowns there in the fourth quarter. Obviously, both of them huge plays. Tell us what you were seeing on the field in the fourth quarter as this game was going back and forth with so many lead changes.
Well, we was down 27-14 in the fourth quarter. We just had to fight. We know we were still in it. We just had to prevail and just come together because it was kind of down. But we know if we got a 3-and-out, offense was going to go on the field and score.
Mason, you had a touchdown pass in the fourth quarter as well to David Santiago. You still have a year after this. You have had a really good career already at Millbrook. Last year, I'm going to ask all 3 of you this question, but I'm going to start with you. Last year, you guys had the tough third-round loss to Rolesville in the playoffs. What do y'all take from that experience as you're making this run now in a game last night against Cardinal Gibbons or coming up in the third round when you're playing Southern Alamance?
Well, last year was a very hard loss. And we know we've never made it past the third round, so we're looking to do that this year.
I had forgotten that. That's right. Millbrook has not been past the third round in the football playoffs.
Let me say one thing to him, though, because Mason, I don't know if he, how he thinks about his season, but I do remember a not so stellar game against against Roseville, I believe, right?
Yes,
but
right.
That was the one game this season, right? That you've seen something a little different, but since then he's unfazed, and that's the part that I love about Mason. He's the guy he has that unbothered look about him, that aura of don't panic, we got it type of feel. And you can see a young guy like himself protecting the ball, not putting the ball in harm's way, giving his team a chance. I just want to commend you for that, because that's something that you see a lot of quarterbacks that have one bad game and they just let it tank, right? But you turn around next week with the SEC type mentality. You got a big game every week. And I just wanted to give you your flowers before we move on to, the defensive side of the ball.
Yes,
we
sir.
should have started with the defensive guy.
You got to put the dark side on the second, man.
Jaden, you got the big scoop and score to seal that, seal the win last night. What was going through your head when that happened?
So when the play started, everyone on the sideline was like, "This is the final drive. We have to see this off. So I see this snap and the ball's bouncing, and the first thing went through my head is, you have to at least grab it. So I grab it and I start running, and all I hear is Ian behind me, "Take it to the house, Fergie, take it to the house." So it was pure excitement and joy knowing that that's what sealed the game and that the game we had won.
And obviously, Ian Rembert had a big turnover in the fourth quarter too, an interception to set up a touchdown. This is a team now. You're on to the third round. You're going to play a Southern Alamance team. TJ, we've seen Southern Alamance a couple times on High School OT Live. I'll get your thoughts on this, but we'll just go down the line here. Xavier, we'll start with you. What do y'all know about Southern Alamance right now? What do you think you guys need to do well next week in order to get that third round win and get to the fourth round for the first time in school history? Xavier, we'll start with you.
Well, we know they run wing T, so it's going to be a D lineman and linebacker game. Personally, I feel like we have the best linebackers and linemen in the state, so I feel like we can get the job done.
Mason, as the quarterback, what are you seeing in that game defensively from Southern Alamance?
I don't really know, to be honest, but I'm just go off of what Zay said because he said that they were on wing T. So I feel like if we put up some points in the first quarter, we'll go up 14-0, 7-0. I think they're gonna have to pass the game, and then we can just control the game from there on out.
Jaden, they're talking about defense and how important that's going to be in this game against the wing T. It won't be the first time y'all have seen a wing T. What do you expect from your defense against that Southern Alamance offense?
Our defense so far this season has been good at filling gaps and controlling holes and controlling flow. So I feel like our linemen, they do a pretty good job of making sure their gaps are sealed. And as long as me and David can get on the outside, I feel like we'll control the run game all day and make them throw the ball. Pew will be back there, pick it off here and there. So I think we'll be good.
TJ, we saw Southern Alamance in Week 10 and Week 11 against Jordan and against Hillside. What do you see in this matchup between Millbrook and Southern Alamance?
Exactly what a combination of what they all said. I think they play against Wake Forest, right? So they've seen something close to it. This isn't something foreign to this. Nick, what you doing, man? All that in, baby. Nah, but they've seen Wake Forest, but a little bit of what Mason said, start fast, right? You want to get out to a fast start. You want to make all your possessions count and then try to make this team one-dimensional. This is obviously not a team that spends a lot of time doing route concepts, so making them pass the ball is unfamiliar waters, right? And then from a defensive standpoint, I mean, Jaden Ferguson might be a little modest, but when you hunting down a school record for sacks and things like that, you start pinning your ears back. You start attacking the ball a little different. So him, Ian Rembert, they have and then obviously when you got added support in the safety realm, we ain't worried about throwing the ball either. So they have the pieces. I think this is that game where it can easily get away if Millbrook, you all don't come out with the right mentality. But if they handle business, I don't see them having too much trouble with Southern Alamance.
You know, TJ was saying before we took the commercial break just how many potential playmakers there are on Millbrook. We couldn't fit them all on this screen if we invited them all. There is one guy on that team, though, that's going to be playing in the SEC one day, Nathan Leacock, wide receiver.
Right.
Mason, as the quarterback, what's it like to be able to have a guy like that to throw to whenever you need to and know that he can make a play?
It's pretty awesome, honestly. Like last year I had Wesley, so he pretty much did the same thing that Nate's doing right now. He brings 3 people over top of him, and when he's not, he's one-on-one. It's pretty much impossible to guard him. And when they do bring 3 people, it just leaves the other wide receivers open. So he pretty much just helps the whole offense.
That's for sure.
Yeah, all right. I tell you what, it's hard when you know you can't double team, because here's the thing too. In the event you decide you want to back up, they will run the ball. Like there's a dog in the backfield. That's the thing that I love, because it makes Nathan's job easy. It makes Mason's job easy. When you can just turn to the left or to the right, get a man the ball and go 90, go 70. People start inching up. Yeah, it's hard to run with a track star. It's hard to run across a drag with Ty Broughton. It's hard to do a lot of things. You know what I mean? So, I really like Millbrook's team. You know, I don't see anybody on the team who can outball me. But, you know, it's one of those things. They got time to grow.
And we can get you on the field with them. And
they don't want that. They don't want that. You see, hey, put me on Jordan's team right now. See,
I've seen you try to run routes with some of these kids. It takes you 6 hours to warm up.
Hey, man, that's why you get to the game early. Okay.
All right, look, I asked Mason about the loss to Rolls on the 3rd round and what he took from that. I said I was going to ask all 3 of you. So, Xavier, when you think back to that game last year and losing the way that y'all lost, that was such a back and forth, hard fought game. What do you remember from that? Does that drive you now as you make this playoff run this year?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like we said, Millbrook football has never been past round 3, and like we were so close to getting the job done last year. We played round. He was a tough QB. So I think we're able to do it this year.
And defensively, Jaden, what do you guys think about when you think about last season in that third round exit?
Last season, they ran the ball a lot, and we've seen a lot of teams that have run the ball this season. So I feel like run game wise, we've trained and we're ready to make sure run games are stopped, and we're driven to make sure that no one scores too many points to the point where our offense can't keep up. So I think defensively we'll be good and we're ready.
TJ, any last words for him?
I'm ready. I better see y'all in the fourth round. We better be able to do this again. That's all I know.
So,
well, if they win, they will face the winner of Hillside and Pine Forest.
Oh, yeah. Come on to Durham. Come on to Durham. Yeah, I really get there. Get me a fish sandwich too, Nick. Oh, yeah.
Talking about that all year. All right, Jaden Ferguson, Xavier Pugh, Mason Fortune of Millbrook. Congratulations on the win against Cardinal Gibbons. I won't call it an upset because y'all said it wasn't an upset. And good luck in round 3 against Southern Alamance, guys.
Thank you.
Congratulations, fellas.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to take another commercial break here. When we come back, we're going to hear from Coach Bruce McClellan of Terry Sanford. They had a Hail Mary for a win last night, a walk-off Hail Mary for a win, and we got the video to show you. We also have Triton coach Ben Penny, the 28 seed Triton, got a win last night. They're on to the third round now. And then a little bit later, we're going to hear from Hillside running back Jamil Williams. He'll join us live to talk about his season so far and a little bit of recruiting talk and some other stuff with him. So a lot to talk about here as we get to the last part of the High School OT Live post-game show. We'll be right back after another quick break.
It made perfect sense. I come here every day because of the great customer service and friendly atmosphere. So I bought my Breeze Through Lifetime Refill Mug. For only $19.99, I got a stainless steel mug and get free refills forever. Or grab a regular refill mug for $9.99 and enjoy discounted refills every time you stop by. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else.
Show your support for the best in the Triangle in the WRAL Voters' Choice Awards presented by M&F Bank.
From takeout to weekend getaways.
Cast your vote online at WRAL.com/VCAs. And remember, voting ends November 20th.
Welcome to my new holiday outpost at WRAL's Nights of Lights. My elves are hard at work preparing the holiday selfie stations, crafts, and more. And of course, Mrs. Claus and I'll be there. Reserve your visit now.
At WRAL, we have the tools.
Storms are firing up on the Dual Doppler 5000 radar.
We have the team.
We are live here in downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street.
And WRAL News at 6 has the people you've known and trusted for decades.
I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owens. We begin tonight with breaking news. Every night,
everywhere.
I'm Mark Boyle in the WRAL Live Center this afternoon.
No matter how you're watching.
And that's coverage you can count on.
When you see a WRAL certified accurate forecast, you know it's been verified by the largest team of meteorologists with the most powerful tools in North Carolina.
We personally write every alert and send them directly to you so that you'll always know when severe weather is at your doorstep.
Tracking severe weather or everyday weather, no matter where or how you watch. Always local, always live, always protecting what matters to you.
And that's coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to the High School OT Live post-game show. I'm Nick Stevens. We got about 45 minutes left here in the second round show, and we've got some stuff to get to from last night because there were some exciting games, some upsets, some crazy finishes, and one of those was in the 3A East where Terry Sanford beat Scotland on a walk-off Hail Mary. And Terry Sanford coach Bruce McClellan is going to be joining us live here. That is TJ Thorpe. We don't want to talk to him right now. Coach McClellan, congratulations on the win last night. The 7 seed Terry Sanford beat the 10 seed Scotland 58-55. And like I said, a walk-off Hail Mary. I've got the video. We pulled it from the NFHS network. I'm going to show it real quick, and then I want to talk about it because this might be the play of the year. I'm not sure.
Sounds good.
All right, we're gonna pull it up here, and Coach, you can talk over this if you want to, and just tell us what was going on here.
Well, at this point, the backup quarterback's in, Jalen Wright, to add to the chaos. And, we had been back and forth all night. I mean, just a shootout. It reminded me of an NBA basketball game, man, just running up and down the field. And we were out of timeout. So after second down, we just told them, hey, look, we have two versions that Coach Van, Coach Holstein, and those guys put in on offense where, we kind of get the guys downfield and hope for a tip drill. Never works in practice. Never works. I mean, just never works in practice, like we talk it through. And just, I don't even know how to describe what happened after that. Give Carlos Craig, he's a basketball player that plays DB for us. We put him in 6'3", 6'3.5", and he jumps up. I think he might have gotten their vision a little bit, the DBs, and it tips off their DB and Patrick Shook. I couldn't tell who caught the ball, but I knew right away it was Shook. He's, you got that type of player that you always know is there when something crazy happens. No offense, Shook, but that's him. And, we were just elated. You got to have a lot of luck to win, make a long drive in the playoffs. But, man, it was a wild one.
Is that the craziest game you've ever been a part of?
By far. Craziest game I've been coached, played, anything. 40-plus years of, football. And it was – the game itself was great. It could have ended regular and just been something you'd talk about forever. But that Hail Mary, it was just unbelievable. But all the things that came with it, Dante Garcia gets knocked out of the game. Jalen Wright comes in. We do have a package for Jalen. He's super talented. And he's just so cool and calm the whole game. And then that drive and then to, be able to step up and make that play and navigate all the things that go with it it was amazing.
Patrick Shook, as you said, is the receiver who made that catch. Coming into that game, he had 757 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns. I guess that's probably going to be the most memorable touchdown of the season. It has to be for him. Yes. Outside of that, though, 58-55, there was a lot of other stuff that happened in that game. Walk us through exactly how that game transpired against a perennial power in Scotland, who anytime you face Scotland in the playoffs, you're going to get a tough game.
Coach Bailey, he's his record speaks for himself, what he's done. He's got that Scotland program, rolling year after year after year. And we knew it was going to be tough to stop them with the running back. And, their offensive line and defensive line were by far the best that we've played all year. And so, we just told the guys on offense, say, look, the defense has bailed us out a ton this year in some big games. And, we're going to have to do our part tonight. And we had to have the mentality that we're going to score on every drive. Didn't quite think it would take scoring on every drive, but I think we might have punted one time and turned it over on downs once, maybe twice at the most. But it was, and the crazy thing was with the weather, no turnovers, no fumbles either side, no interceptions. So it was basically them running their offense, and Coach Van and the offensive staff did an unbelievable job of getting us in things that we do. We're a little more balanced attack, but unbelievably coached, well-coached team. Told Coach Bailey afterwards, have a ton of respect for him and what he's done with that program. But it was just one of those games where you better score. If you want to stay in the game, you have to score every time.
One more question for you. I really appreciate you joining us here tonight, but you're going to be going on the road now to the 2-seed Eastern Alamance in the 3rd round. What do you know about that team? What do you guys need to do to get the win and get to the 4th round?
Well, know what I've seen on film and, from the years past, Coach Kirby and that staff is much like, Coach Bailey. Those guys have been at it, a good while. I talked with Coach Kirby today and, just get things set up for Friday night. And, we know, what a great gift for completing the Hail Mary and winning the game is they have to go to Alamance and play. And, they're going to be very formidable. They're really strong in the trenches, offensive and defensive line. And just to be honest with you, they kind of mirror Scotland. They got great interior lines and they've got athletes all over the place.
Well, Coach, we appreciate it. joining us tonight. One more time, I'm going to pull this up so we can close out. And while we're watching, are you practicing this in practice this week?
Man, I tell you what, we're going to go with the same thing and hope it fails in practice and works in the game every week. But the kids made the play. It really did. The effort was remarkable. And the last thing I'll really say about it is when we got the timeout after second down, all 5 receivers, and, those guys are, receivers are, said, give me the ball, coach, I'll make the play. And, that's not we don't have that every day. So we believed. I mean, maybe it's a little crazy, but the theme of the night was we believe.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the win and good luck in the 3rd round at Eastern Alamance.
Thank you very much. Appreciate what you do for the high school sports in this area.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to stay in the 3A East and head over to Harnett County, talk to Triton coach Ben Penny. And, Coach, congratulations, first of all, on getting to the 3rd round of the playoffs as a 28 seed. I was told last night, corrected immediately, that I cannot call this a Cinderella run, though. So we won't go there. But congratulations, 35-16 win over Hunt. You're now on the road taking on the 20 seed Jacksonville in the 3rd round. What has this run been like for Triton? This is the first time since 2003 that Triton has made it to the 3rd round of the state playoffs.
It's been tremendous. It's been fun. Appreciate you having us on. Nick, real quick before we get going, I got to give J. Mike the shout out.
Everybody at Harnett County gives him a shout out.
Look, nothing's going to brighten your day better than the hashtag Harnett County when it pops up on Twitter. I think he owns that hashtag, has the rights to it. I don't know. But we appreciate him keeping us on the map. But, yeah, it's been a special run. The guys are living in the moment right now. That's what we tell them, just to come out every day and keep having fun, keep wanting to keep doing it pretty much and keep playing. And it's been a special past couple of weeks for us.
Walk us through that game with Hunt. What was working that allowed you guys to build that lead and get another road win in the playoffs?
Well, they came out and hit it. We came in the week with some adjustments in our back pocket. You're playing a team that's as physical as they are, and they line up in a power T formation. You better be prepared if the first thing doesn't work, the second thing doesn't work. Just be prepared for adjustments. They came out, hit us with a long touchdown run, and we went quick to one of our adjustments, and the defense stepped up after that, and we got some playmakers on our football team, led by our quarterback Jalen Evans, and he kind of put the team on his shoulders, and the other guys just kind of fed off of him and took control of the ball game.
Now I'm going to bring up the playoff bracket here real fast and move to the correct spot on the bracket. You're going to be headed to Jacksonville, the 20 seed. I mean, anybody that makes it to the 3rd round, I think we can kind of just throw the seeds out the window at this point. What do you know about this Jacksonville team, and what do you think you guys need to do to get another win in the playoffs?
Well, I know they're well coached. I don't know Coach Williams personally, but we had a lot of battles many years with his brother, Bubba, over at Eastern Wayne and Corinth Holders. I know he's a great coach. He comes from a coaching family. I'm friends with Coach Steve Brooks over there. Those guys, they're going to be prepared and they're going to be well coached. They got a couple of good downhill runners that special football players, pretty physical on defense. But they're 2-0 right now, just like we are. We're battle tested. I think we've played 9 playoff teams this year. Very similar conference. Those guys are battle tested too. A little split deal going on over there. We're just looking forward to continue to play and, like I said, continue to have fun. And heading to Jacksonville, it should be a good game.
You talked about them being able to run the football. Triton runs the football too, 300 yards rushing per game. So that should be a fun one to see. Somebody who is a 20-plus seed is going to make it to the 4th round of the playoffs in the 3A East. That is always fun. And I promise I won't call it a Cinderella run again. Okay, I promised Donnell last night I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I saw that. Hey, whatever motivates us. These guys are, we had a lot of guys on that spring 21 team, man. And we finished one out of the playoffs. I think there was a Saturday game that came down to a 40-yard field goal, knocked us out. We weren't even playing. And those guys saw, the hurt. That team showed up at practice the next Monday. went through a lot of emotional deal there with the seniors, and told those guys, hey, remember this feeling. So, we're confident, we're having fun, like I said, and, we're just excited. We're excited.
Well, Coach Ben Penny of Triton, thank you for joining us, and good luck in the third round of the playoffs.
I appreciate it, Nick. Thank you.
All right, when we come back, we're going to hear from the number 1 seed in the 4A East, the Hillside Hornets. We'll hear from head coach Ray Harrison, and then we'll be joined by running back Jamil Williams. That's next here on the High School OT Live postgame show.
Do you have the Breeze Through VIP Rewards app? For every dollar spent in-store and for every gallon pumped at a Breeze Through location, you can earn points to trade for a variety of your favorite snacks and beverages, or for savings at the pump. Don't forget the member deals, only available to VIP members. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and start earning rewards today.
WRAL's Nights of Lights is back with thousands of new lights. Along the route, you'll encounter 30-foot-tall dinosaurs and a brand new 250-foot animated tunnel. Get your tickets now, as some experiences are already sold out. Stop by the brand new Holiday Outpost and meet Santa. Ho, ho, ho! Get your tickets now at WRALNightsofLights.com.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks. Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite.
My kid heard that solo.
You see my kid?
Yeah.
Show your support for the best in the Triangle in the WRAL Voters' Choice Awards presented by M&F Bank.
From takeout to weekend getaways.
Cast your vote online at WRAL.com/VCAs. And remember, voting ends November 20th.
Welcome back to the High School Live postgame show. I'm Nick Stevens. Last night in the 4A East, the Hillside Hornets got a win, the number 1 seed over Apex, 46-43. Hillside lost a big lead in the fourth quarter, had to hold on at the end. Kyle Morton was there for us last night. He talked to head coach Ray Harrison after the game.
Coach, congratulations. Big win for you guys here. Second round against Apex, moving on to the third round. Little dicey there at the end, but what did you like from your group tonight to get that lead and then get the job done at the end?
Yeah, I just like our resilience tonight. We stuck with it. Apex had a great game plan for our defense. Third quarter was fine. Those last 6 minutes of the game was pretty scary, but Coach did a great job from Apex, man. It was amazing. Number 22 was awesome, 2 was awesome, and they did a great job, man.
Yeah, obviously a really strong team over there.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is a good kind of test after last week? It was a little easier to get you more ready for playoff competition.
It was, because they was just technically sound the things they did. We knew what they was going to do going into the game, but still just the perfection of what they was doing on the offense speaks volumes for that team.
Season long, we've had you guys on High School T Live a few times. Obviously, a super impressive group you've got here. Jamil and Wilson, a super dynamic backfield. What is it about them that makes them special, and what are some of the things you're able to do with them as a coaching staff that maybe you couldn't in the past with lesser talent there?
I think the best thing we did for those guys was really to let them play JV. A couple of those guys probably could have played their freshman year, but playing JV that first year and a little bit of that second year helped them grow and mature. We knew Jamil had this in the whole time. It was always been there in him. He just let it come out his senior year, and it's just so amazing to watch this young man do his thing. Watch Wilson and Tahir and KJ, the offensive line, just did a great job.
All right, so you heard him talking about Jamil Williams, the running back for Hillside. He's been outstanding all season. I'm going to bring TJ Thorpe back in. TJ, you're a big fan of Jamil. We're going to talk to him in just a minute. But first, tell us your take on Jamil Williams and the game that he brings to Hillside.
I say it every Friday. Jamil Williams, I think, is the most underrated back in high school football. I think Jamil is the most versatile, one of the most versatile backs, and he's the catalyst to the offense. This offense goes and the team goes as Jamil goes. And that's just, they have a lot of pieces, don't get me wrong, but he's lights out in the classroom. I I can't find a flaw in his game. You want him to block, he blocks. He catches out the backfield. He can run in between the tackles. He can run outside the tackles. He can finish long runs. If I'm an Amarion Blue fan being Jordan High School, but you give me either one of these two backs, Jamil Williams being the most tenured one, I think you can't go wrong as an offense. So, again, can't understand, especially some of the schools so close in this area, why he doesn't have more buzz. But hopefully after they break down this senior film and see come to some of these games here late in December and November, that he's definitely a Division I, ACC, SEC, Big Ten, whatever running back. The guy can do it all. I like him a lot.
Well, let's bring him into the conversation and talk to Jamil Williams. Jamil, thanks for joining us here tonight. Congratulations on the second round win over Apex. I want to start there, and then we'll get into your game specifically. That was a back and forth game for a long time. We were following it here in the office last night, and obviously Kyle had coverage of that game. You guys built a lead there in the second half, and then Apex clawed back. You had to hold them off. What happened in the second half of that game that allowed Apex to get back in it, and what did you guys do to secure that win?
I feel like in the second half of that game, it was just kind of a lot of mistakes, defense and offense-wise. Just small things we got to clean up, and, we'll do it this week. But what allowed us to prevail is we just have a motto as a team. Something bad happen, keep playing. Something good happen, keep playing. And I feel like sticking with that, it just allowed us to get this far to make it 12-0 this year.
Before I hand it over to TJ, do you want to talk a little trash to TJ about how y'all beat his team this season?
I give it to Jordan this year. They did give us a run for our money, but he'll side on top.
All right, that's all right. He's not gonna be there forever. That's the thing. They got to deal with my guys next year. That's all I'm saying.
TJ, I'm going to let you talk to him for a second, ask a couple questions, but I just want to set the stage for the audience here. You talked about how good he has been this season, 1,800 rushing yards, 19 touchdowns. He's rushed for 100-plus yards in 9 of the 12 games this season, 2 receiving touchdowns as well. TJ, I'll let you get into it with him.
I just want to understand, because as your coach said, this senior season has been special, right? What was it? Where was the light bulb that clicked? When did you realize, like, hold on, I'm a man amongst boys out here? Because I'm watching you on the sideline walking down the same track that I've worked out on and played on that field, and you look like the Desmond Scotts, the Greg Littles, the way you're impacting that team, the Lavadier league. So I just want to know what is it that makes it go off for you?
I feel like at practice, I get pushed every day by our defense. Mm-hmm. So that just gives me a lot of motivation. Because our defense is like one of the top in the 4A East. So going against them every single day just makes me a better player.
Man, and that's what I like. And see, most people would go through the, I don't know, it was an in-game moment, but it's the process with you. And do you know why, like, there's not as much buzz around? Is it size? Do you have, like, did you make somebody mad? Did you steal somebody's girlfriend? Like, I'm just trying to understand what they got against you, because when you cut the film on, I mean, you show up every single game. And so what have you been hearing, or what have they been telling you on? Have you been going on visits? What type of things are going on the recruiting trail?
I really haven't been into recruiting as much. I've kind of been more focused on the season right now. Oh. Kind of going 1-0 each week. Recruiting is slow right now, but I still have faith in it. Not rushing anything. I've been on a few visits, let's say Elon, James Madison. Nothing big right now, but I feel like it's coming up. It's on the way.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And again, any of the coaches, college, I know a lot of these coaches, I get field calls all the time for asking what I might think about players, but let it be known, as someone who's played, at the college level, at the NFL level for a short period of time, and just the professional ranks in general, you can definitely play at the next level. And that mindset you have of it's gonna come, let me focus on the season. Yeah, cream always rises to the top. And you are definitely gonna be at the top when it's all said and done, because it only takes one. And we've seen that, Nick, as you've seen what Ty Smith plays however many 6, 7 years in the league, had one offer coming out of college, so or coming out of high school, excuse me. So again, man, I just love watching what you're doing, and I can't wait to see how far you guys go.
Jamil, how far do you think this Hillside team can go? How good do you think this team is this I covered the 2010 team that won the state championship. They were really good. This team reminds me some of that. I'm ignoring TJ. How good do you think this Hillside team can be? Do you guys believe you can go all the way?
Yeah, I feel like we're state chip down. Like before the season even started back in July, we were talking about all the things we need to work on going into the season. And I feel like each week we're working on them and we're getting better at it. So I feel like this team is state chip down, offense, defense, special teams, all around the board.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's bring up the playoff bracket. Hillside, again, beating Apex in the second round. You guys will face the 9 seed Pine Forest next week. They beat Holly Springs 16-10 in the second round. Have you guys started preparation for Pine Forest yet? Do you know anything about that team?
Yeah, we already got 10 games of film on Pine Forest. So we watched those all today. And then we got meetings tomorrow, kind of going over each game film. Monday, more and more film, all just throughout the week, just practicing for Pine Forest.
We had the Jordan football coach on earlier tonight, and I asked him about the fact that there are 3 teams left from the DAC 7 in the playoffs. Hillside, obviously the 1 seed. You've got Southern Alamance. Will be playing Millbrook in the 3rd round after upsetting New Hanover last night. And you have the Jordan Falcons, who are going to New Bern in the 3rd round. I asked Wilson Cargbo this question when he was on the show last week, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. You guys are undefeated. You've been highly ranked in our rankings anyway most of the season. You're the overall number 1 seed. Do you feel like y'all are still kind of flying under the radar?
Yes, sir, completely. I feel like because we don't get as much social media hype as other teams do, I feel like we kind of just go under the radar. But I like that for us, so our heads don't get big or anything. So we're just able to just stay humble.
TJ, what do you think? Do you think they're kind of? I have felt that way all season, that they've kind of been.
Brother, I played in Durham, so I know how it is. We feel like that collectively as a city. We feel like there's so much talent that comes out of Durham that goes unnoticed because Raleigh's the state capital, Charlotte's huge, and to their credit, they've been really good in the past, but there's a lot of teams and a lot of players, athletes that come through this Bull City area. And we grow up with a chip on our shoulder and ready to ball. So I know that, like exactly what they said, we don't want to do a whole bunch of talking and stuff when they get on the field. It's just time to show you. And I like this Hillside team. They're built, like you said, a lot like that 2010 state champion, or 2011, I believe. 10. Gosh, it's been
2010 all in.
You're old too, TJ.
I know. I'm trying to give myself one more year. But either way, they built like that. They have a really good quarterback, a strong running game, a good defense, and some playmakers on the outside. So I like Hillside's chances.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we let Jamil go, we said that the DAC 7 has 3 teams left. Durham has 3 teams left. We've talked to Jordan. We've talked to Hillside. Southern Durham is also still alive. And Southern Durham head coach Darius Robinson is with us too. Coach, let's get your perspective on all this.
Here. Yeah.
We've got 3 Durham teams left in the playoffs. What's going on in the Bull City right now with high school football and guys like Jamil Williams?
It's all about the Jamil Williams of the city. Their time to do the things that the TJ Thorpes and all those that came before them to let the state know, not just the East, but let the state know that football is real. in Durham and in the Bull City. So, Jamil, you keep grinding and pass that on to all of your teammates and those that's coming behind you as well, so the tradition can continue. So, when you're talking about state championships now, don't y'all forget the history. I think I was counting maybe 6 that, appearances, and I know it's 3 championships that has come out of Durham. So,
well, every high school in Durham's played for a state title except for one.
So I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
It's all right. Every team in Durham doesn't have somebody who signed an NFL contract neither. So it's all
almost.
Yeah.
Not everyone.
So my point that I'm making is we're very relevant. So I mean, every year you're gonna have the pendulum to swing to another part of the state, but something's got to come through Durham, or somebody got to come through Durham in order to make it to where they're trying to go. So, but like I said, the Jamils and, like my guys, the J Brons, the AJs, and, all of those guys, they have to understand that you got to leave your legacy so that Bull City can still be relevant and pass it down to the younger ones.
Amen. And I'm glad he said J Bron too, because, he like Carolina Blue over there, what I mean? He's a ball player, and he's another one that again can take it the distance, not just the college ranks, but he's a guy that you can see on Sundays if he keeps growing and progressing the way he is. So again, a lot of talent, Nick. I'm telling you.
We'll talk about Jay Braun a little bit here in just a second. Jamil, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate the time.
I got one more thing. I would love to get a shout out right now to my O-linemen. Can't do any of that without them. I know I made it to the 3rd round, so we're trying to have 4 more games to go. Can't do it without them.
Good
hey, look, watch this.
They will appreciate
the O-line coach, Derek Vereen.
Yeah.
He was when I was a running back in middle school. He was on my O-line. I'm telling you, they got it. It's in their blood, baby.
Tradition.
Jamil, thanks again, and good luck. Congrats on getting this far. Good luck the rest of the way. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Have a nice one, you all.
All right, Coach, we're going to talk some Southern Durham football now. You guys are 8-4 overall, the 9 seed. You beat Vance County 27-7 in the 2nd round last night. Now you get to go to the overall number 1 seed, Northern Nash, in the 3rd round. How are things coming together here late in the season and resulting in this playoff run that you've got so far?
Well, the most important thing is that our young men realize that they're relevant. I mentioned that earlier about our city, and once they understood that they're relevant and they understood that they can do this together, this word called peaking at the right time, and that's what's going on with us right now. And bar injuries, I feel like that we can play with anybody, and we proved that in our our out of conference schedule. And you look at that schedule, is 4 teams that made it to the 2nd round of playoffs, and right now is 2 teams that are still in the playoffs that are 4A teams. So we kind of built ourselves and out of conference schedule for this tournament, and the tournament is everything. When you get in the tournament, anything can happen. So if you haven't prepared yourself for this time of the season early, those things come back to haunt you, and you don't get a chance to advance. So we're in the 3rd round, and seeding doesn't matter when you're in the 3rd round. It's all about preparation. It's all about coaching. It's all about making sure your kids are healthy physically and mentally. And then, once it's game time, you lay the ball down, and then it's time to, make things happen.
You guys, again, played Vance County last night and came away with a 27-7 win. It was not that lopsided of a game, though, most of the way. It was pretty close up until late in the 2nd half. Tell us what happened that allowed you guys to pull away. I think it was a 1-score game most of the way. What allowed you guys to pull away late in the 2nd half there?
Really, the kids understanding that it's a playoff setting and it's going to be tough, and that we had to make sure that we took care of the football and take advantage of the opportunities that presented itself. We saw some things that happened in the first half. We made adjustments, and then we had it was 12-7 at halftime, and then about mid fourth quarter, Jalen McKee saw a lane, and the kid is so explosive. He took it to the house for about 40, 50 yards, and then that was what had the game in hand for us, because at that point we kind of figured them out on offense, as far as their offense, and our defense just buckled down, and we won the game at the end, which is so important when it comes to the playoffs. And, not to take anything away from Vance County has really, really, really improved over the years, and they have some very good athletes down there, and Coach Clayton is doing a great job. And what they did is prepared us for coming into this week with Northern Nash, because Vance County runs the ball very, very, very well. So we're going to be facing that this week against Nash.
And TJ, I know you want to talk about Jabron. He'll be a big part of stopping that run.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you have someone like him, who, and again, it's not just him. The coach will tell you there's plenty of other athletes on that defense. They're fast, they rally to the ball, but when you have someone who can help you control the line of scrimmage, that's usually where the game's won and lost. And being able to have Jabron on the front line to combat this D line, the O line and the rushing attack of Northern Nash, it fares well. It gives you a chance. And I, again, when you get late into the season, learning how to finish games is the biggest thing. And to Coach's point, it's not always about, you sometimes you fall asleep and you come out slow in the first half, but being able to turn it on and feed off of one another and stay together through the adversity, that's what's going to take you deep in the playoffs. I don't know for sure. I haven't been that deep in the playoffs, but I know they've been there, and Coach is going to have them ready. I believe that.
Coach knows for sure. He's been to 2 state championships.
Yeah, and that's kind of a curse of mine, is that once you go, it's an addiction, and you always try to get back to it. It's no feeling like it. There's no feeling like it.
You rubbing it in, man. You making me jealous.
TJ, I can get you out to one if you really just want to go to one. We can do that in a couple weeks.
Hey, Nick, I can say this, because you're not in high school anymore. You had your chance.
Hey, man, George go. I'm gonna be on the sideline with him.
But it's not but love for you. That's not but love for you, because you just like family. So everybody in Durham is just like family. We want everybody to be successful.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I can't wait to see big Jabron in that Carolina blue, because he looks good in the red and black. I'm a Falcons fan. I do like the Georgia Bulldogs, but when it gets to that college level, that red and black kind of, so getting him in that lighter, nicer blue, it's clean on him, he's going to do his thing. Well, what do you expect him to do next year? I know it's a little further, but.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to talk about right now when it comes to Jabron. And again, I don't want to leave out any of our other players on our team as well as our defense, because, if you talk to Jabron, he'll tell you, man, we're stacked. But Jabron, I feel sorry for him, because he takes on 3 every play. He's always taking on 3 guys. I mean, if I had a picture of his jersey, it just doesn't make any sense. The jersey's all ripped up because he's getting all the attention, and he's still making plays. He's still closing out games. And I think once he gets over in Chapel Hill, it's going to be a lot of one-on-ones, and they don't want that, because this kid is, his first step is amazing, and then he's just so physical, and he's going to be a game changer. You can mark my word that, they're going to be doing the same thing a lot of teams are doing this year. They're going to be trying to figure out where he is, and they're going to try to run away from him.
I'm getting chills. I'm excited.
Coach, real quick before we let you go tonight, I want to bring up the 3A playoff bracket. Again, we mentioned Southern Durham will head to Northern Nash. in the third round of the playoffs. The number 1 seed, Northern Nash, beat Southern Nash, its rival, 27-12 in the second round last night. Tell us what has to go right for Southern Durham to get the win over the 1 seed next Friday.
We always have this saying amongst our team, the only team that can beat Southern Durham is Southern Durham. So what that means is no penalties. That's our goal going into every game, is definitely reduce our mistakes. If you get to this point, the playoffs, and you have penalties against teams like Northern Nash, it's going to catch up with you, and it's going to be a problem. And it's going to, pretty much turn into big plays. And then also preparation. You got to watch film. You got to dissect everything they do. You got to, count their plays, basically what they're doing in certain situations down in distance. And then once you put your game plan together, you pretty much got to know what's coming at you at a particular time. The only thing that you got to really worry about at that point is what we call the tomfoolery, the trick plays. They might try to throw some of those in every once in a while, because at this point in the playoffs, the playbook is wide open. So you live to fight for another day, and so we got to be prepared for that. And then the most important thing, 3 phases of the game, we have to dominate all 3 phases of the game. And they are relevant, and they are a good team, and we have to be prepared for them just like they got to prepare for us. So I like our situation. We're going on the road. We're coming to their place, and I think it's going to be a very good game because we're all going to prepare, and our coaches are working very hard as we speak right now. Nobody's sleeping. I promise you that.
Of course. Well, that's why you're on with us at midnight on a Friday night.
I hang up with you guys. I'm going right back to watch some more film.
Well, Coach, we'll let you get to your film. We appreciate you jumping on and talking to us. Congratulations on the two wins so far, and good luck in the third round.
Best of luck. Put on.
TJ, appreciate you joining me tonight. That was fun. I missed having you on air last week.
Yeah, no, I missed you too. It was like, something was calling me. And I was like, oh, it was literally you.
See what I did on you last Friday.
I did there? Yeah.
I do. All right. Well, TJ, enjoy your weekend, and we'll chat later.
All right. See you.
We'll be right back after a quick break. We're going to hear from Lee County coach Steve Bordeaux, and then we'll let you know what the brackets look like as we approach the third round. We'll be right back.
It made perfect sense. I come here every day because of the great customer service and friendly atmosphere. So I bought my Breeze Through Lifetime Refill mug. For only $19.99, I got a stainless steel mug and get free refills forever. Or grab a regular refill mug for $9.99 and enjoy discounted refills every time you stop by. I couldn't imagine going anywhere else.
At WRAL, we have the tools.
Storms are firing up on the Dual Doppler 5000 radar.
We have the team.
We are live here in downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street.
And WRAL News at 6 has the people you've known and trusted for decades.
I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owens. We begin tonight with breaking news. Every night,
everywhere.
I'm Mark Boyle in the WRAL Live Center this afternoon.
No matter how you're watching.
And that's coverage you can count on.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
I get her, not solo.
You see my kid?
WRAL's Nights of Lights is back with thousands of new lights. Along the route, you'll encounter 30-foot-tall dinosaurs and a brand new 250-foot animated tunnel. Get your tickets now, as some experiences are already sold out. Stop by the brand new Holiday Outpost and meet Santa. Ho, ho, ho! Get your tickets now at WRALNightsofLights.com.
Welcome back to the High School OT Live Postgame Show. I'm Nick Stevens. Tomorrow, there are 5 high school football games still left in the second round. We'll have coverage of those for you and score updates throughout the afternoon and evening. One of those games is Lee County headed down to North Brunswick. Earlier this week, I talked with Lee County head coach Steve Bordeaux about that matchup. Coach, you guys went on the road in the first round and picked up a really tough road win against Current Buck. Now you're headed to North Brunswick on Saturday. What did you learn from that first round road game and that environment, that kind of a win that you had to fight for that you think might help you on Saturday at North Brunswick?
Yeah, it was definitely a hard-fought game. It was great to see the boys compete and, bend in some situations but not break all the way. And otherwise, we ain't playing this week. We've been on the road a few times throughout this season for some decent trips. Adding another one to it this week, so hopefully that has prepared us well.
Tell me what you know about this North Brunswick team and what kind of a game you expect.
Yeah, they're very athletic team, 10-1, coming from another 3A, 4A split conference, something obviously we're used to. Played a solid schedule and really dominated a lot of the teams they played throughout. Very athletic on the edges on defense. Really impressed with the quarterback and running back they have overall as a team. They'll be one of the best, if not the best team we played.
You mentioned that 3A, 4A conference split. Do you think that – I know that obviously means tough conference games in the regular season. Does that benefit you guys or teams like North Brunswick when you get to the playoffs that you're playing against those bigger schools?
Yeah, I sure hope it benefits us. We played some really, really tough, what I would consider through the conference play and even playing a couple 4A schools out of conference. I think that just the sheer numbers that some of those schools have make you play 4 quarters. Where sometimes, some of the top 3A teams against a lesser 3A team may be able to coast. We have not been able to do that. We've played a lot of 4-quarter football games, so hopefully we're prepared to do so.
And you guys coming into this game, you've got a pretty strong rushing attack, but you've also got a quarterback who can throw the ball. When you have a junior coming in that's almost a 2,000-yard rusher, actually might be 2,000-yard rusher now, I'm not sure how much he had on Friday night, but closing in on 2,000 if he's not already. How big of a benefit is that?
I think as the seasons went on, just having confidence in our running game and the offensive line really playing a huge factor in that. We have 6 linemen that really play key snaps and kind of pave the way for, BJ and JoJo and Mark, our quarterback, to have a clean pocket and do the things he does. But it's been awesome seeing us be able to run the football. Hopefully we can continue to do so.
So Saturday you go down to North Brunswick. What are the keys? What are you telling your guys at practice this week that this has to happen if we're going to get to the third round? And obviously this is a Lee County program that has made some playoff runs in recent years.
Yeah, definitely. I think the boys are used to making some playoff runs, so that part won't be something we're not used to. I think the keys are always going to be in playoff football winning is being able to run the football, controlling the line of scrimmage, and being able to stop the run. They're really good at running the football. We've been really good at running the football. So I think who does the best job probably defensively probably has the best shot to win the game.
Another down to the wire game?
I hope not. Hopefully we can play better early. But I would expect it to be a good game throughout. They're a very good football team, and if we have to come to play.
All right, Coach Steve Bordeaux, Lee County. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
All right, again, that game tomorrow, Lee County and North Brunswick. Before we leave you tonight, we're going to bring you a quick update on all the brackets, the third round matchups that we have so far. Brendan, we're going to pull those brackets up, and we'll start in the 4A West. We're awaiting the Grimsley-Charlotte Catholic game. That'll be tomorrow. The winner of that will take on the number 8 seed Independence. And then we have the 5 seed Huff beat Mallard Creek tonight, 16-6. They await the winner of tomorrow's 3 o'clock game between Mount Tabor and East Forsyth. Further down the bracket, Watauga and Northwest Guilford will play tomorrow night. The winner will get the number 6 seed Weddington. And then AC Reynolds tonight, if you missed this early on, they beat Chambers 17-16. A late field goal lifted AC Reynolds in that one. They will now host the 15 seed Butler. Butler beat Mooresville 41-21 tonight. In the 4A East, the number 1 seed Hillside will face the number 9 seed Pine Forest. Both of those teams won last night. The 12 seed Millbrook will face the number 13 seed Southern Alamance. And at the bottom part of the 4A East, Wake Forest, a 3 seed, they will get a rematch with their rival, Rollsville, at the 11 seed. Rollsville beat Cleveland tonight on the road, 28-21, had to hold off a late Cleveland push in the fourth quarter to get that win. And then finally, the 23 seed Jordan on the road at number 2, New Bern, in the third round of the playoffs. Brennan, you want to take 3A?
Sure. Kings Mountain and West Charlotte both handled their business tonight. Kings Mountain 42-0 over Smoky Mountain, and West Charlotte 56-7 over High Brighton. So 2 teams who really put up big numbers on offense tonight, and their defense did a stellar job tonight as well. So that should be a great third-round matchup between those 2 teams. And then you had Ledford upsetting Northwest Cabarrus in the second round on Thursday night. They'll be taking on East Lincoln, which handled its business and defeated Tuscola 35-7. So should be an interesting matchup there as well. Crest, a 14 seed, never trailed at number 3 seed Oak Grove, and they were comfortable throughout in their 42-15 victory. They'll be facing South Point. They'll have the work cut out for them against the South Point offense, which posted 74 points at Dudley 1 year after being held scoreless at Dudley in the playoffs. So Crest, South Point, 2 teams with double-digit seeds. That's a really interesting third-round matchup. Eastern Guilford, 62 points in the win over Irwin, and they'll be taking on West Henderson, which defeated West Rowan tonight 56-42. That was by far the highest scoring game we had on the docket tonight. So Eastern Guilford and West Henderson, that should be a good one. And then Northern Nash, Southern Durham. We were talking about Southern Durham earlier just a few minutes ago. So that should be a fascinating third-round matchup and see whether the Southern Durham defense can do a job against Northern Nash in their running game. Southern Durham defeated Vance County last night, and Northern Nash defeated Southern Nash in a county rivalry game. We were also talking about Triton earlier. They defeated Hunt, and they'll be facing Jacksonville and 2 teams with 20-plus seed marks next to their name. So, like you said, Nick, a team seeded 20 or higher will be moving to the 4th round, so it'll be fascinating to watch that one. Moving on, 71st, they're waiting to see who they'll face. They'll either be facing Lee County or North Brunswick, depending on tomorrow night's result. 71st handled business on its home field, getting some revenge against the Rampants, who they lost to in the playoffs last year. So 71st against either North Brunswick or Lee County. We talked about it a lot already, but Terry Sanford over Scotland, that was by far the craziest game of last night, and there are a lot of crazy games, so that's saying something. With the Hail Mary going their way, they'll be facing Eastern Alamance, which really showed some resilience as well, overcoming an early 3-touchdown deficit at home to defeat Williams in overtime. So that's what we're looking at in the third round for 3A.
Well, let's move to the 2A. I'm going to refresh these brackets because it looked like one had not been updated. We have the 1 seed Riesel advancing to take on number 8 Chase. Pretty comfortable wins for both of those teams. Maiden gets a 46-13 win over Mount Pleasant. They will host the 13 seed Bunker Hill, who edged Community School Davidson last night 41-40. On the bottom part of the 2A West, Burns 42-0 winners over Shelby will host Salisbury. Salisbury beat Pine Lake Prep 48-13. Monroe 55-7 winners over Lincolnton. They will travel to East Surrey after East Surrey beat Hendersonville 21-16. And in the 2A West, the 1 seed Princeton put up 71 points last night, 71-34 winners over Trask. They will host Cummings, who beat Midway 42-7 last night. Wallace Rose Hill goes on the road last night to beat Northeastern 35-31. They will travel to Nash Central after Nash Central beat Green Central 36-28 last night. And in the bottom part of the 2A East, we have Whiteville 42-35 winners over Holmes. They will host Hertford County. They beat West Craven 44-43 last night. Clinton shuts out South Granville 26-0. They'll hit the road to take on East Duplin, the 2 seed. They beat James Keenan 31-17 last night. And Brennan in the 1A.
Yep, Eastern Randolph at home against Mountain Heritage. They won 28-12, and they'll be hosting Robinsonville, which led the route and was up on Cherokee that whole time, and they ended up with the 39-12 win. So Eastern Randolph, Robbinsville in the third round. Christ the King was hosting Hayesville, but it was Hayesville which was trailing for most of the night, but ended up rallying to win 14-13. And they'll travel to Mount Airy, the 4 seed, which had no problems at all at home against North Rowan, winning 57-7. And then Thomasville, the 3 seed, 21-0 victory over 14 seed Swain. And they'll be hosting 6 seed Drawn, which won tonight 35-10 over Mitchell. And then 7 seed Murphy in a very close game back and forth with 10 seed East Wilkes. They ended up winning 38-34. And they'll travel to Andrews, the number 2 seed, which got a shutout victory 35-0 over Mountain Island Charter. And then back to the top, you had Tarboro. After their first game of the playoffs, after having the first round bye, they defeated Southeast Halifax last night 48-0. And they'll be hosting Riverside of Williamston after their 44-14 win over Northeast Edgecombe. West Columbus, Washington County, that's the 1-1A game that we're waiting on to be played tomorrow. Winner of that one will travel to Northampton County, which won a close game against Northside 28-20. And then Rosewood, the 3 seed, they led pretty much the whole time against Warren County and ended up winning 49-16. And they'll be hosting Hopton, which scored 42 points over Southside in its 42-34 win. So that should be an interesting third-round matchup between the 3 and 11 seeds, Rosewood and Hopton. For Quimins, 48-14 winners over East Columbus as a 23 seed, and they'll be traveling to Northmore, which did just enough to squeak out a 13-12 win over Pender, the 18 seed, which had upset on its minds. And that's it for 1A.
That's it for all of them. The third round almost set. We have 5 games tomorrow, and again, we'll have coverage of some of those games. Easy for me to say. I've been talking way too much today on 3 hours of sleep. We'll have coverage of some of those games for you tomorrow. We'll have score updates throughout the afternoon and evening for you on highschoolot.com and on the free High School OT app. No show tomorrow night, but we'll be back next Friday. Fingers crossed, no weather issues next week. We'll have one night of high school football next week. That'll be next Friday, 10 to midnight, right here on highschoolot.com and on the High School OT app. Brendan, thanks for your help with the scores last night and tonight. We'll do it again next week. For everybody here at High School OT, I'm Nick Stevens. Thanks for watching the High School OT Live post-game show. Congratulations to all the teams that won in the second round, and good luck next week in round number 3. Have a good night, everybody.